In the game of manipulation, there's something called the classic bait and switch tactic. Your victim has something that you want, so you lure your mark in with an irresistible offer. Then you do what's called love bombing, where you overwhelm your victim with loving words, actions, and behaviors to sweep them off their feet to sink your teeth deeper into them. You lavish them with gifts, favors, you can't stop complimenting them, you give them undivided attention, you get them to commit right here and now. And once their guard is down, you start to extract what's yours. But as soon as you have sucked all the blood you can from them, as soon as they're no longer of use to you, as soon as your priorities change, that is where the switch comes in. The favors suddenly come to a halt, you're no longer at their beck and call, you turn your cold shoulder, you stop answering their phone calls. And that is exactly what Elon Musk and Tesla is experiencing right now with the Chinese government. Musk was lured into China.
China rocks, in my opinion. The energy in China is great. People there's like a lot of smart, hardworking people, and they're not entitled, they're not complacent.
The red carpet was rolled out for him, his gigafactory was approved and built in record time, the financing for the factory by Chinese banks was unheard of, $500 million at a cheap rate where even if Tesla defaulted on the loan, the banks wouldn't have any legal claims on Tesla. Tesla had full access and support from the upper echelons of the Chinese government, and they were even given unprecedented support during COVID compared to competitors. It seemed like the perfect geopolitical bromance.
I would like to strike an optimistic note and say that I'm very confident that the future in China is going to be great.
And China became instrumental in Elon's rise to the richest man in the world.
China, I think long-term will be our biggest market, both where we make the most number of vehicles and where we have the most number of customers.
But then, the switch happened. China banned some of Tesla's cars from military complexes. Public outcry against the safety of Tesla vehicles rose uncensored online without any credible evidence, making some believe that officials were quietly supporting or even enabling the outcry. Which brings us to today, where out of nowhere, Beijing orders almost every single Tesla sold in the nation to be recalled, over 285,000 in total to fix a software safety issue. So it looks like the honeymoon phase between Tesla and China is over. The only question left is why. Some of the articles you've seen on screen so far were these bite-sized, easy-to-read, couple-paragraph-long articles from today's video sponsor, Morning Brew. And Morning Brew is free, so you're gonna want to stick around for this. Morning Brew is a daily newsletter written for Gen Z and millennials that makes reading the news actually enjoyable, so you can stay informed and entertained for free every day of the week. All you have to do is open up their email in the morning and boom, you get a quick view of the markets, you get the hottest stories from different categories summed up in just a few paragraphs in Morning Brew's witty yet straight-to-the-point writing, you get a quick list of what else is trending right now, all of which you can consume in just 5 minutes in one simple email. Which means no more long, drawn-out news articles from traditional media that takes 15 minutes to read. I personally use Morning Brew to get a quick 10-second rundown of the most interesting things happening in the world that I should know about, and if it looks interesting, I'll go deeper into it. Like how Tesla scored record profits even though it's facing supply chain challenges, quote, like the toilet paper shortage but at epic scale, end quote, in Elon Musk's words. So pause the video, click the link below, and subscribe to Morning Brew so you can get smarter every morning. It's completely free, takes less than 15 seconds to sign up, you literally just type in your email, so there's no reason for you not to subscribe right now with the link below. China is the world's biggest market for EVs. In 2020, they were responsible for buying around 1.2 million EVs, which is around 40% of the global total. So moving one of the world's most famous EV brands into the country seemed like a good idea at the time. After all, it's not just that Chinese people wanted EVs, but their government actually makes driving these cars cheaper than buying a normal gas vehicle. The Chinese government offers subsidies and incentives for people who buy plug-in hybrids or fully electric cars. Some Chinese cities even penalize people who own normal cars, like in Shanghai, where license plates for cars that use gas have to be bought at auction for around $14,000, while plates for EVs are totally free. So it's not surprising that Tesla saw the chance of eating up the Chinese EV market as a no-brainer. I mean, if a giant market wants your product and even the government is pushing people to buy it, why wouldn't you enter that market? And Tesla entering the Chinese market was good for the Chinese government as well. At the time, car sales were slumping in China, and Chinese EVs just weren't as good and didn't attract consumers. So they thought that bringing in a widely recognized brand like Tesla would give their domestic EV manufacturers some much-needed competition. And having the opportunity to steal some of Tesla's intellectual property, as they have a history of doing with foreign companies, was another bonus. Before their move into China, Teslas were pretty rare in the country. In 2015, they only sold around 3,700 imported cars compared to a local competitor with almost 10 times as many sales. Adjusting their cars for this new market took time, and they made a lot of mistakes, like not accounting for the fact that the wealthy in China usually have chauffeurs and wanted fancy back seats, or how their infotainment system would need to be updated with Chinese apps, or how Tesla charging ports were compatible with national standards. Even after all these issues were fixed, Tesla still faced a major setback in sales. All their cars were made in the US, and the Chinese government subsidies didn't apply to imported vehicles. This was one of the main reasons that the move into China seemed like such a great idea, even after many Tesla executives said the company should be cautious, especially when it came to protecting intellectual property. Despite all these worries, when Tencent Holdings, one of China's largest tech brands, bought a 5% stake in Tesla, Elon Musk took it as a sign to start expanding Tesla's presence in the country. So Tesla started looking for cities to set up shop, and Musk turned to doing what he does best, negotiating the terms and incentives for building a factory in the country. One of his biggest asks was that Tesla would have 100% control over their operations, and that no other company, Chinese or international, could have a stake. This went way against the traditional requirement that foreign companies entering into China had to go into a 50-50 joint venture with a Chinese firm. You could blame it on the US-China trade war, or the fact that China really needed to rebuild its reputation of being welcoming to foreign companies. But less than a year after the negotiations started, Musk got approved for full control of Tesla in the People's Republic, which was again unheard of for a foreign company, especially one from the US. A couple months later, Tesla and the Shanghai government sealed a deal for a Tesla gigafactory able to produce up to 500,000 EVs a year. And the good times just kept rolling in. And Elon Musk seemed to really like the royal treatment, even famously saying "I love China" while meeting one of the top government officials, Premier Li. State-backed banks agreed to offer Tesla up to $500 million for constructing the factory with some great terms. Local officials were placed on site to process paperwork faster, and connecting the factory to running water only took 4 days, insanely fast compared to typical constructions. Premier Li even went as far as to offer Musk permanent residency in the country, and it seemed like the bromance had blossomed into a full-blown love affair. Teslas were made exempt from the 10% new vehicle tax, the first foreign car brand to get this special treatment, and by December 2019, Tesla got yet another $1 billion financing deal from the bank. And just before the start of 2020, Tesla delivered its first ever Chinese-built EVs. And shortly after, the factory was already hitting up to 1,000 cars a week, and Chinese consumers went crazy over the cars and the brand. It seemed as though Tesla could do no wrong, and the Chinese government was eating from the palm of their hand. For a while, Tesla's move into China looked like it could be the company's greatest success story yet. Everything seemed perfect. The Chinese government became one of Tesla's biggest marketers, doing everything they could to lure people into buying EVs. More than 120,000 cars were sold in 2020, and China became Tesla's second biggest market after the US. Forecasters predicted that by 2022, China would account for more than 40% of all of Tesla's sales, and the predictions got better, with the company's Model Y set to outsell their Model 3. But then COVID hit. Everyone thought it would be the end of Tesla production, at least for the time being. But no, the Elon Musk-China love affair blazed on, and Tesla was treated with the very best treatment the state had to offer. Buses were provided to bring workers to the factory, dorms were being guarded by state officials to ensure workers didn't mingle with the community, and they had plenty of N95 masks, while other Chinese businesses struggled to get their hands on enough to even cover their essential employees. While other car manufacturers were struggling to start up their factories, Tesla produced 1,000 cars in their first week back. And by March 2020, they broke the record they set before COVID and increased their production rate to 3,000 EVs a week. Elon Musk had become the Chinese president's favorite capitalist. Which raises the question, what did China really want out of it? At first, it seemed their country had been transparent about their motives. Tesla would be the driving force behind China's EV revolution and force many of the almost 500 local companies building their own EVs to up their game. Like in the smartphone industry, where Apple's manufacturing in China provides healthy competition for brands like Huawei and Oppo, Tesla would trigger the development of the entire EV supply chain, not just their own. Unfortunately for Tesla, this reality came true. Tesla did in fact raise the bar for local EV manufacturers like NIO and Xpeng. Their tech was getting better and their sales had been on the rise. All the while as US-China relations spiraled to the lowest point since the 90s. All of a sudden, Tesla wasn't so useful to the Chinese government anymore. Their priorities changed. Tesla took the bait, and now it was time for the switch. Starting in February 2021, Tesla quickly started running into problems. A video went viral of a staff member telling a Tesla owner a national power grid overload had damaged her EV, and Tesla had to quickly issue an apology to the state-owned power grid company. Suddenly, Tesla executives were being summoned by Chinese regulators to discuss safety issues in their cars, including reports of random acceleration and battery fires. And right after that meeting, Tesla bent the knee, putting out an apology that was on the verge of bootlicking. about how Tesla had sincerely accepted the guidance of government departments and deeply reflected on shortcomings. Later that same month, Tesla started giving its PR department serious attention to rebuild its reputation. Then in March, Tesla really started feeling the change in the government's favor, when some of its cars were banned from military complexes over fears that they could be sending their camera data back to the US government. Now in damage control, Tesla makes yet another statement that their cameras aren't a threat and that any data collected is stored within the country. At the prestigious Shanghai auto show, a woman jumped onto one of the Tesla vehicles and claimed that her brakes had failed, causing an accident. Pictures and videos of the protest spread uncensored online, even though there was no compelling evidence that what she was saying was true. Tesla asked the government to use their censoring powers to stop the spread, which made some people wonder if the Chinese government intentionally wanted this to spread or was even enabling it. But Tesla came out of the cage swinging, saying that it was never their fault and the woman had been manipulated into doing what she did. This reaction made them look even worse, and they later had to issue yet another apology again and provide data surrounding the accident. All these apologies made for some really bad publicity, and sales dropped by 50% over just a few weeks. Then in late April, China dealt yet another blow to the company, stating that all smart cars would need to store their data in-country. Considering that Tesla was the only foreign EV manufacturer, it was pretty easy to see who the statement was directed towards. And by May, things just kept getting worse. Local governments started reviewing Tesla ownership among their employees, and then came the last straw. In June, after claiming Tesla's autopilot system could be activated automatically and possibly lead to crashes, Beijing ordered pretty much all of nearly 300,000 Tesla cars sold in China to be recalled and their software upgraded for free to fix the safety issue. Tesla had to apologize again, and this was one of the most embarrassing setbacks for Tesla thus far, and it did the most damage to Tesla's reputation in the country. It really showed just how far Tesla had fallen out of favor with the Chinese government. Tesla served a purpose at the beginning of their relationship, but now they don't. So they've been thrown to the wayside and the honeymoon is over. Another major factor in the China-Tesla breakup was the breakdown of the country's relationship with the US. When Tesla first started working with China, the country was still trying to show that it was willing to work with the US. Now with the US outright calling China a strategic rival and the country's borders remaining closed,
we'll also take on directly the challenges posed by our prosperity, security, and democratic values by our most serious competitor, China.
China showing that it's willing to work with US companies isn't a big priority anymore. And like many who came before them, Tesla's experience in China serves as a warning sign of the perils of working in the Chinese market. The question is, what happens from here? Tesla is still doing well overall. They made $12 billion in the second quarter of 2021, nearly double what they earned the year before. They hit over $1 billion in profit for the first time, and they still have some of their biggest fans in China. With that being said, their overall stock is down nearly 10% in 2021, while GM is up 38%. And China's crackdown on Tesla is also part of a much bigger crackdown happening right now with tech in general in China. So as that happens, as tensions continue flaring between the US and China, and more brands crowd the EV market, it could definitely put a bigger squeeze on Tesla in China. I think we need a few more months of sales data to know for sure if Tesla is in a major slump in the world's biggest car market, or whether they've simply been hitting a few speed bumps along the way. But as we mentioned, this is just another lesson of how if a government has the power to give you everything, they also have the power to take it all away at a moment's notice as soon as you are no longer useful to them. So what do you think of Tesla's relationship with China? Was this super obvious that this was going to happen? Were you surprised? Do you understand why Elon would want to go into China in the first place? Because after all, if everything goes according to plan, they probably will be the biggest economy in the world within a few years. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Morning Brew, our video sponsor, you should check them out with the link below because it is free and literally all you have to do is click the link, and you type in your email and you click enter, and that's literally it. Then you will get the latest news every single day into your inbox that you can consume in less than 5 minutes that I and many other people very much enjoy. That'll be linked below for you guys to check out, and if you're not aware, supporting the sponsor of a channel is probably the best way to support a channel financially, and this one is free too, so if you want to support, you can sign up. If you're new here, we make video essays every single week on the most provocative, thought-provoking stuff in the world of business, geopolitics like this one, economics, crime, business, money, power. I'm pretty sure I just repeated one. But yeah, you can subscribe with the red button below for more videos just like this every single week for free. If you want behind the scenes stuff, day in the life kind of stuff, you can follow me on Instagram at jaketrend.io. And that should be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome. I've been Jake. As always, stay dangerous out there, and I will see you guys in the next one.